President Obama, 1,000 days into his presidency and looking out at the unruly political landscape all around him. Some questions. What does he really think of that surprise Republican frontrunner Herman Cain and his 999 tax plan? Of the protesters occupying Wall Street and the fear of another recession? Well, ABC's Jake Tapper is traveling with the president, and Emporia, Virginia sat down with him just today. Jake, tell us about it.
Diane, good evening. President Obama is battling both historically low approval ratings for his handling of the economy and an energized Republican presidential field focused on that issue. So I began our interview asking him just how worried he is and how prepared the public should be about whether this already fragile economy is headed south once again.
What I feel is what the American people feel, which is that we have now gone through not only 2.5, 3 years of post-recession blues. If you hear a sense of urgency in my voice, it's because these problems are solvable. But you don't get a sense that we're moving in Washington with the sense of urgency that's required.
Some of the frustration has come out in this Occupy Wall Street protests. You've expressed sympathy with their position, their feeling of powerlessness.
I understand the frustrations that are being expressed in those protests. In some ways, they're not that different from some of the protests that we saw coming from the Tea Party, both on the left and the right. I think people feel separated from their government.
We're sitting in a school. What grade would you give yourself?
Well, I'm not going to give myself a grade
Not even a midterm?
Other than incomplete, because the work that we started is not yet done. Even though I believe that all the choices we've made have been the right ones, we're still going through difficult circumstances. And that means people who may be sympathetic to my point of view still kind of feel like, yeah, but it hasn't gotten done yet.
It's just over 2 months until the Republican Iowa caucus. Herman Cain has his 999 plan.
Right.
What are you hearing from the Republicans when it comes to the economy?
What I haven't heard is anything new. Across the board, whether it's coming out of the Congress or from the Republican candidates so far.
999 is new.
Essentially what it says is that we're going to make sure that the wealthiest among us pay less, and we replace any revenues with a sale tax that would be a huge burden on middle-class families and working families. That's not new. One of the things I'm most surprised about is they want to roll back all the Wall Street reforms that we put into place as if they've gotten amnesia about how we got into this problem in the first place.
The president generally begged off talking about any specific Republican presidential candidates, but he said there will be a very clear contrast between him and whoever the eventual Republican nominee is, and the election will be about not just the direction of the country over the next 4 years, but perhaps the next 20 or 30.